It's truly special and an honor to be here with you all this morning representing the NIC at the very place where my own leadership journey started nearly a decade ago. For those who may not know, the North American Interfraternity Conference is the trade association that represents the majority of the collegiate fraternities in North America. I've served as our Director of Advocacy for nearly 2 years, and in that time I've worked very closely and directly with nearly every major fraternity. I want to start out by telling you without hesitation, Sigma Nu is one of the most respected and influential leaders in the entire interfraternal world. And that leadership is not just symbolic. Back in 2015, Sigma Nu was one of a small group of fraternities that led the charge to reform the NIC, to stop being reactive, and to start being strategic. That effort gave rise to what we now call NIC 2.0, a complete reset of our priorities. We put advocacy first, backed it up with real data, and built a national game plan to defend the fraternity experience on campus and in Washington, D.C. A lot of people said it couldn't be done, but we did it anyways because the future of fraternity was at stake. That's why I believe so strongly in this work, because when fraternity is done right, it's one of the most effective leadership pipelines in American life. Just look around this room. Look at the alumni who came back. Look at all the students stepping up and the brotherhood that binds generations together. One of my closest friends is Brother Past Regent Dan Rodriguez, and we went to school nearly 5 decades apart. Sorry to age you like that, Dan. I've seen firsthand how fraternity changes lives, but don't just take my word for it. Let's look at what the research says. I always like to start with the research because it proves what we already know. In a time when nearly half of high schoolers report persistent hopelessness, fraternity men experience stronger support, lower anxiety, and deeper friendships that last a lifetime. And after college, they're more likely to lead, support others, and give back to their alma mater. You can scan this QR code. I know that last slide was tough to read. This isn't just our opinion. It's an empirical research study that shows that fraternity works, and I hope each one of you goes home to tell that story as ambassadors for this experience. But statistics alone don't protect our future. We do, and we have to act. At the NIC, I spearhead an initiative called Engage. At the local level, we're building strong fraternity-led leadership pipelines and campus organizations. We support and fund student government organizations and student government campaigns, and we track and consult with fraternity-affiliated student government leaders all across the country. At the federal level, we mobilize fraternity men for public service and strengthen ties with those already serving in office. And we're actively communicating with every affiliated member of Congress as well as their staff. The ultimate aim is to ensure fraternities have a seat at the table when decisions that impact us are being made on campus and beyond. Let me tell you a quick story that highlights why we focus so deeply on student government. When I helped recharter the Sigma Nu chapter at Arizona State University, we had one goal: to become known as the premier leadership fraternity on campus. That meant getting our members into every major student organization. I ran for Student Senate, and because I had the backing of my brothers, I won. That next year, I helped 15 of our members run, and all 15 got elected, giving us a majority control of a student government on a campus of 60,000. That victory sparked a tradition. Today, every year, we run more than 20 candidates, and we've never missed a year of running a Sigma Nu for student body president. Why does that matter? Because if you want to protect your chapter, if you want to shape the culture of your campus, you need a seat at the table. And if you're not at the table, like I learned at my first lobbying gig, you are on the menu. So let me ask you, the collegiate brothers in the room, how many of you are involved in student government? On most campuses, student governments have no fraternity representation. That means policies get passed, without anyone in the room standing up for us. That's why this work is so important, and if you're even thinking about running, I want to help you. We'll even fund your campaign so there's literally no excuse. Because these aren't minor policy debates anymore, we're facing real threats. Deferred recruitment, freedom of association violations, system-wide suspensions, and the Abolish Greek Life movement. To tie it back to Sigma Nu's strategic plan, this is how we protect our reputation long after graduation. Here are just a few of our brothers and chapters leading at the highest levels, managing budgets, setting policy, and shaping the student experience for tens of thousands of their peers. We know these students go on to be CEOs, public servants, and industry leaders, maybe even a future regent of Sigma Nu. Our goal at the NIC is to build that pipeline early, starting with campus leadership and continuing all the way to Congress. For years, we've brought top student leaders to Capitol Hill to advocate for the future of fraternity life. Alumni-led groups like the FGRC, where our own Brad Beecham plays a vital role, and the FS PAC work nonstop to defend our interests. And last year, that work paid off. On Christmas Eve, the President of the United States signed the Stop Campus Hazing Act, a historic win that strengthens prevention and makes campuses safer nationwide. We're also investing in education through the Fraternity Sorority Action Fund. We launched the First Amendment Institute, a national program teaching students how to defend their rights. It all adds up to one mission: building men prepared to lead far beyond college, because fraternity has shaped this country's leadership for generations, and it still does. I'm always astonished by this fact. 19 U.S. presidents began their leadership journey in a fraternity. One of them got his start both as chapter president and student body president at a small college in Illinois. He led his brothers, he built coalitions, and he learned how to navigate tough conversations long before he ever stepped into public office. He even credited his fraternity experience as a key preparation for the role of president. That man was Ronald Reagan, a proud teak from Eureka College. But it's not just the presidency where fraternity men have made their mark. Here is every current sitting member of Congress who's a member of a fraternity or sorority, with Sigma Nu brothers highlighted in white. Many of them got their start the same way many of you are right now, on campus, maybe even at a grand chapter like this one. That's why the choices you make today matter more than you think. Fraternity is a launch pad, and if you ever doubt where this experience can take you, just ask the alumni in the back of this room. So imagine this with me. What if Sigma Nu was known on every campus not just as a great brotherhood, but as the leadership fraternity, the organization that produces the next generation of CEOs, public servants, engineers, doctors, and principled men of character? Because when fraternity men lead, and when they choose the harder right over the easier wrong, everyone benefits: our campuses, our communities, and our country. Leadership doesn't mean having all the answers. It means stepping up and saying yes, and college is the safest place you'll ever have to try, to fail, to learn, and to grow. But true leadership, the kind that lasts, of course, starts with our creed. Love, to serve others without expecting anything in return. Vice Regent Sean Christie gave me a book called The Go-Giver once that perfectly captures this idea. Honor, to choose the harder right over the easier wrong. John Hearn, I know your ears just perked up. And lastly, truth, to stand firm in our values even when it's unpopular. That's the kind of leadership Sigma Nu was built to inspire, and it's the kind our world needs now more than ever. So here's my challenge to you, to the collegiate brothers: run, lead, write down your goals and turn them into action, and ask how Sigma Nu can support you nationally. Most importantly, don't forget to bring others along the way with you on your pathway. To the alumni, continue supporting Sigma Nu in all the ways that you do nationally and locally. Strong alumni are the cornerstone to any great chapter. You stepping up and being a visible, vocal advocate for the fraternity experience moves the needle in our public discourse. I'll leave everyone with this. Before you leave the room, think of one brother that shows promise. Do you know who it is? I want you to call him, I want you to text him, and I want you to challenge him to take the next step in his leadership journey. If we all do this, that's 500 people today that can be impacted by your words of encouragement. That's the power that you have. And if you ever need any help, my number's on the screen. I will pick up. But more importantly, look inward. What kind of legacy are you building? Because Sigma Nu has always been built by men who choose to lead. And now it's your turn, not tomorrow or someday, today, together, right now. Thank you, brothers.